Okay, let's finish up the third episode of Trials and Tribulations, and hopefully the audio won't betray me this time. That was a funny sound. It was like a fart. Good morning, Mr. Wright. Good morning, Maggie. So, what did you think is going to happen today, sir? Sus. Yesterday's session didn't go so well and ended on a giant mystery. That's true. And we still haven't solved a single part of it yet. Are you okay, Nick? Huh? Oh, yeah, of course. I saw that little flash of doubt in your eyes. No, that wasn't doubt. That was, determination. Why don't I believe you? It's nearly time, Maggie. You better get going to the defendant's seat. Adjusting my microphone. Okay. Wait. Something just happened. Okay, it's fine. Roger, don't let me down, Mr. Wright. I'm counting on you. Hey, pal! Oh, hey, Detective Gumshoe. Quit stressing Maggie out. She doesn't need that. I wonder if I still have... No way, I do! So does that mean I'm gonna have to present this as evidence? How did you know she was stressed? I was watching it through the doorway. Oh. You look like you lost the case already. Show a bit of confidence, will you, pal? Here, maybe this'll help. Oh, finally, it took you 2 days to do that? Huh? Have you taken up aromatherapy too? Not in a million years, pal. Don't tell me that you don't remember this thing. I remember, it's all I've been thinking about. Come to think of it, that doesn't look like one of those aromatherapy bottles. Oh no. Now Phoenix has the memory of the judge. This is the small bottle that turned up in Tribulations' kitchen a couple of days ago. And meanwhile, the judge is like, oh my god, I just remembered a traumatizing experience from my childhood. I didn't know that was possible. Wow, look at all these little bottles. Oh, they're aromatherapy oils. He's got so many, they're overflowing onto the floor. I just remembered a traumatizing experience from my past. Hang on, I have to stim it, it'll feel better. Hey, wait a minute. There's one bottle that's different from all the others. Well, what do you know? And it doesn't have a label either. And it doesn't smell. We finally got the analysis results back from the lab. So, what is it? Is it the poison? I'm afraid not, pal. That'll be too easy. It's medication. Medication? Yeah, for ears. Topical use only, apparently. For ears? You mean... Yeah, it's the medication Glenn Elk was using for his ruptured eardrum. What was Glenn Elk's ear medication doing in the kitchen? Unidentified fingerprints? He couldn't... What about the unidentified fingerprints? Anything on that? Someone screwed up, so they only had time to analyze the contents of the bottle. Another hour, and they might have gotten something on the prints, but... That's gonna weaken its impact as a piece of evidence. Okay, pal, this is it. Make sure your defense is impregnable today. Got it? Alright. Oh, my defense is gonna be the most impregnatable thing ever. Everybody's gonna impregnate my defense. I'm gonna expose that guy for what he's done, or my name is Phoenix Wright.
Court is now in session for the trial of Maggie Bird.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Ready and waiting as always, Your Honor. Very good. Then we'll get underway at once. Yesterday, we heard the testimony of Mr. Victor Kudo. He claims to have witnessed the defendant putting a powder into the victim's coffee. However, the witness's testimony was plagued with a number of problems. The mark on the rim of the cup shows that the victim drank from it with his right hand. But according to the old man's testimony, he picked it up with his left hand.
Why not ask the cup what it thinks? Dust it for prints.
Thank you, Mr. Godot. Furthermore, according to the witness's account, The victim was listening to the radio with an earpiece in his left ear. Yet, the victim's left eardrum was ruptured.
Ugh.
Which made him effectively deaf in that ear.
It's amazing how many contradictions a single case can have, huh, Nick?
Ha! Allow me to enlighten you, Your Honor. The world, you see, keeps turning, and we must turn with it. You've lost me already, Mr. Godot. Don't let the mysteries of yesterday mystify you today. Only losers think like that. You've got to change with the times. That's one of my rules. Are you implying that you've resolved these contradictions? You know the answers to these riddles? Wait, you know the answers to these riddles? The old guy wasn't just throwing seed in here. He was throwing us off the scent. And today I'll prove it. Very well. Let the first witness take the stand.
Oh, boy.
And you are?
Oh, bonjour, everyone. I am Gene Armstrong, the owner and head chef of the Tribulations restaurant. Enchante. You're the only chef, you fucker.
Forgive me for asking, witness, but are you a woman?
Oh, boy. Ooh la la, monsieur. As you can see, I am the pert and perky gentleman, no?
On the day of the incident, you were in Trabian's kitchen. Isn't that right?
With you, monsieur.
What?
Everything feels right. Wow, he's totally unfazed. Doesn't anything intimidate this guy?
Very well. Your testimony, please, witness. Please tell the court what happened that day at Tribulations.
We volunteers. At Tribulations. Tribulations. Okay, microphone's still working. Goody. When it all happened, there were just 2 customers in my restaurant. I remember it was experimented with some new art deco that day, like having a large mirror between the tables, for example. Perhaps that is what the old man was looking at. The cups, the earpiece, and the glasses. He would have seen everything in reverse, no? So, mirror? Yes, the grand mirror, the most enormous mirror.
And suddenly, the mystery disappears. Like I said, the world keeps turning, so roll with it. That would explain the coffee cup and the earpiece conundrum. The mirror would have made everything appear back to front.
What the heck? It's way too early in the morning for this to be happening to me. Wait.
Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
At Tribulations. When it all happened, there were just 2 customers in my restaurant. And who were those 2 customers exactly? My, of course. The young man who died, and the other not-so-young man.
You were referring to yesterday's witness, I presume?
What about the other man Maggie says she saw at the table? Something tells me Mr. Armstrong isn't planning to disclose his existence, cause he's an accomplice. We need some hard evidence before we can bring him up, don't we? I guess I'll just have to try a different approach for the time being. I remember I was experimenting with some new art decos that day. You were experimenting with art deco? How come I never heard about that before today? You are not familiar with the language of interior design, monsieur? Please stay on topic. Now, why didn't you tell the court about this before? But I did, just a few months ago.
Excuse me, Mr. Armstrong. This deco you mentioned, are you referring to some sort of decouture?
Oh, no! Art deco. It's a style of design, Your Honor. Decouture. Is that a thing? He's talking about interior design. Walls, ceilings, carpets, that kind of thing.
Ah, yes, of course. That deco.
Is there another kind of deco that I don't know about? I was trying to achieve a more effeminate look for my restaurant. I was planning the most bold remodeling of decor. It's possible this guy's a drag king. I'm not going there. Let's not go there. How big of a mirror are we talking about here? Poof! Something about 4 meters wide and about 2 meters high. Let's see. If 1 meter is about 1 yard. Holy glass in a frame, that's huge. Listen, if he were a drag king, he wouldn't be cooperating with the police. Am I right, comrades? Yeah. I was intended to install it on the ceiling eventually. The ceiling? Was there a mirror on the ceiling? I don't remember. Me, no. But I decided to not go through with it in the end. What should I do? Should I ask him more about the mirror or not? Press harder. Press harder until you quantum tunnel through his testimony. If you really had such a large mirror in the restaurant, someone would have noticed it. There's nothing about a mirror in Kudo or Maggie Bird's testimonies. But...
You didn't ask, Wright. You have only yourself to blame for such sloppy work.
What?
A mirror was delivered to Tribulations the day before the incident.
Really?
Mr. Armstrong testified he was carrying out some design changes. And as it turned out, he didn't actually use the mirror in the end.
This just doesn't add up. Even if a mirror was delivered to Tribulations, it doesn't prove that it was in the restaurant on the day of the crime.
Huh. If you want to doubt someone, Wright, look in the mirror. I'm sure the person looking back at you will be dubious enough.
So the witness yesterday had seen the victim reflected in a mirror.
That is what the old man was looking at. The cup, the earpiece, and the glasses. You would have seen everything in reverse, no? Everything? He would have seen everything in reverse? Wee. Hey, Nick, we should take a second think about what old CD said in his testimony. How did he phrase it again? Oh,
The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. No question. Lock me if I'm wrong. It was his left ear. Down.
then he used the same hand to pick up his cup, the left hand. He saw everything if he saw everything he described reflected in a mirror, then everything he said saw on the left side was actually on the right, huh? And that clears up all the problems with his testimony, I guess. Or does it?
Huh.
It's kind of hard to believe everything's the fault of a mirror, but... You think old CD saw everything through a reflection? If he did, it would explain all the contradictions in his testimony. But that just makes the situation worse for Maggie. There's gotta be something in that old man's testimony. You just gotta dig deeper. The vase? He broke the vase. Like having a large mirror between the tables. Perhaps that is what the old man was looking at. He wasn't looking at a mirror. He was focused on the waitress. Let me think. The old man wasn't looking. He was looking at Maggie. No, didn't think so.
Right, what the fuck are you doing?
Testimony. Nope. Okay, let's think about this. He would have seen everything in reverse. Everything. So we got this. We got that. Yeah, no. Okay, think. Where's the contradiction? The old large mirror. How big of a mirror are we talking about here? Let's see. If one mirror is... Oh, I already pressed him on that. Leave it. You couldn't lie about such a huge object like that. So he was looking at the fucking mirror? On the ceiling? That is what the old man was looking at? Perhaps. Normally, I'd expect people to know the difference between a reflection and a real object.
Normally? How does normality come into this? That's lame, Trite, even for you.
Kinda have to agree with him on this. There is nothing normal about any of the cases that you take, Phoenix. Huh?
Are you trying to say that if something isn't normal, it isn't possible? Is that it? Where does that leave the porky-headed lawyer and the top-notch chick over there?
Who you calling a top-notch? Don't call her that.
And the ungodly cool guy with the mask over here? Well, Trite.
Ah! Not the hair! I do not have a top knot.
Mr. Godot is correct. A lack of normality is no basis for discounting an argument.
Yeah, logic has won the day. Deadass just said you are not normal. Take your normal pills, Phoenix. Everything in reverse. Does that include... No, wait. If he was here... Wait a minute. Let's look at the crime photo. I don't see his earpiece or anything. All this does is prove the vase is unbroken. Wore an HMD over the left eye. The left eardrum was ruptured. Yeah, he did wear the HMD over the left eye. So... But if he was looking at things through a mirror, he would have seen it on his right eye. The coffee cup, the earpiece, and the HMD. Let's think back over Mr. Kudo's testimony for a second, shall we?
The boys wearing the earpiece are the same side as the green lens of his specs. No question, you can lock me up for a ride. It was his left ear, without a doubt.
So, to summarize, we were told both the HMD and the earpiece were on the victim's left side. Now, if Mr. Kudo saw that as a reflection in a mirror, it means both the HMD and the earpiece were actually on the victim's right side. Exactement. You see, monsieur, now that you think about it, it's not so hard, no? Nuh-uh. Fuck you mean, nuh-uh. Unfortunately, that's where we run into a monumental contradiction with the facts. If Mr. Kudo really did see everything in a mirror, why is it that the HMD is now on the wrong side of his head?
Order! Order! Mr. Wright is correct. If the witness generally observed the victim reflected in a mirror, then we would expect the victim's eyepiece to have been over his right eye.
But it was always on his left eye.
How bitter. Trite, you should have a taste of this bitterness. It'll calm you down in no time.
Are we talking about your coffee or something completely different? Now, Phoenix, you know that's a loaded question.
You don't understand the way the witness thinks. How he thinks? You remember this, I presume.
Oh, hey. The I broke the vase sorry apology. I mean, Mr. Kudo's sworn apology?
Exactly. The old man has one very grievous habit, other than throwing seeds. The more of an impression something makes, the more muddled his mind makes it. And what's the most striking thing about Mr. Elg?
His name.
Clearly is the victim's eyepiece.
That's purely a matter of opinion, though.
And that's my point. The old man strikes again. Mr. Elg's HMD made a big impression on the old man. Oh yes, they were both on his left ear. Do you hear his left ear? Ha! Well, Trite.
That's the worst but best impression of Kudo ever. Good thing I didn't try to do that impression. Wow, I really thought it was old C for a minute there. Godot's good.
Enough!
I must agree that yesterday's witness was irresponsibly rash in much of his testimony.
Yeah. Bad luck, Nick. Looks like the boil of a contradiction found is just a rash. But a rash can fester. And justice can be melted, corroded over time. It's a non-corrosive metal, but metals can be melted by the evils of revenge. It's revenge, and it's best served cold. But revenge can be reheated in the microwave of evil. Uh, a mirror can't be beaten by a handful of seasons.
So, what exactly was the old man looking at? Fill us in, Mr. Armstrong. Go on, tell the court. We're all ears.
Oui, I can explain. Please, if you will look at the plans of the restaurant. Alors, Zuta Lors, is everyone sitting comfortably? I'm not. Lemire, it was in the middle of the restaurant, divided into two halves. What? If it was if it was in the middle of the restaurant, then he wouldn't have been able to see him. How would the old man have seen it? There is only one seat from which you could have seen the image of the victim. That was the seat at the table next to the victims. That was where the old man was sitting. How do you know that? After the terrible incident occurred, I moved the mirror so it was not in the way. But naturally, I did not touch anything else.
I see no problems with the explanation you have just had. From the table next to the victims, Mr. Kudo could have seen the victim in the mirror.
What a naughty little coquette I am, confessing all the men like this.
Don't worry about it. We can keep up, except for the guy breaking out in a cold sweat over there again.
I hate that guy. I like that guy.
You said you didn't touch anything else apart from the mirror. Are you quite sure about that?
Volunteers, of course.
Very well. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you please.
Lemire, it was in the middle of the restaurant, divided into two halves. So, run this by me again. This mirror was here, correct? We? Really? Because I know if I were you, I wouldn't have put a mirror in there. It would be in the way.
Look who's talking, Wright.
Huh?
You're obstructing my view, among other things.
But this is like seeing the courtroom. See, you guys are got a standing desk.
Tribion's charm is that it gives you the impression that you're the only customer. Temporarily placing a mirror in that spot would hardly be in the way.
Why would that be a charm?
Unlike you, trite.
I tell you, monsieur, the mirror was there, in the middle of the restaurant. Okay. There is only one seat from which you could have seen an image of the victim. And where would that be? Ooh la la! Look how you lean towards me. I always attract the younger boys. Maybe I should keep you in suspense a little longer.
Mr. Armstrong, tell the court what you know at once.
I attract the older ones too, you know, handsome. Shall I tease you too?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm already seeing a very hot someone, so I'm afraid you'll be waiting for a long time.
Yeah, that's right. Godot's only love is coffee. The only thing you can ship Godot with is coffee. I bet she has mocha cream skin and cappuccino perfume. Bien, I will tell you, there was only one seat from which you could have seen. That was the seat at the table next to the victim. That's where the old man was sitting. So why can you only see the victim from that particular seat? My monsieur, it is obvious, no? If you look at the plans, you will understand. The victim would have been reflected in the mirror like so. If you were sitting at the table next to him, you would see everything, no? So that's the seat old Seedy was sitting on that day. When the poison happened, the old man was sitting at the table next to the victim? Why does that seem kind of odd? Really? Let's see. If he was sitting at the table, what would that have changed? What would have changed? of course, this is a crime photo, but, like, it doesn't... It's taken from the kitchen, so that's not exactly going to be relevant. If he broke the vase... Oh! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I got it. If he broke the vase, but I know that the seat next to the victim's seat had a... It had a vase. Shoot. There we go. Well, I think my ear's starting to hurt. Maybe I'll need some topical medicine. Your Honor, Mr. Kudo's word yesterday strongly contradicts Mr. Armstrong's testimony.
This is the letter of apology that was written by Mr. Kudo, is it not?
I realize it looks useless, Your Honor, but this is still testimony.
Huh. I guess useless people are only really good at identifying useless things. What relevance does this scrap of paper have to the trial, Mr. Wright?
Mr. Kudo's testimony is actually very relevant to the question at hand, Your Honor, because it very clearly contradicts with this piece of evidence. Something about the vase. The blueprints, right? Oh shit, I fucked up. Okay, this is fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I can start over. I can... Oh, shit. So, save. If it wasn't the... If I could just have... Blah, 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 blah. This piece of evidence. Let's see. The lunch special, the loan contract, Victor's testimony. Like, surely... Ah, see? Boom. You see the vase there. So, how could he... If he was sitting... This piece of evidence contradicts with the testimony we have heard, Your Honor.
The crime photo?
Yes. This photo clearly shows something that theoretically should not exist.
What on earth do you mean by that, Mr. Wright?
Should not exist? Huh. Sounds like you described yourself, Wright.
Objection! He made fun of me.
Now then, if the defense would please clarify its statement.
What is the something that should not exist in this photo? It's this vase. The vase. There is one thing that was clearly demonstrated by yesterday's testimony. Mr. Kudo broke the vase that was on the table where he was sitting. And yet, as the court can see, there is an unbroken vase on the table next to the victim. Why? Because Mr. Kudo was not, in fact, sitting at the table next to the victim at all.
Don't be an idiot, Wright. That's impossible. That seat's the only one Kudo could have seen the victim's reflection from.
Exactly. There is only one conclusion we can draw from this contradiction. There was no mirror in Tribune that day. Your testimony, Mr. Armstrong, is an elaborate lie.
Oh, mon Dieu! Don't try to confuse the court, Wright. Obviously, the victim witness cleaned up the vase while the police were taking their time getting to the crime scene.
You really think he could afford another vase? This guy's 30K in the hole. Unfortunately, Mr. Kudo, that doesn't quite work for me. Mr. Armstrong already testified to the contrary. In his own words, I did not touch anything else except the mirror. Man, you're like a steam... God.
Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself?
I was right. There was no mirror in the restaurant that day.
In light of this revelation, we would return back to the original problem. Why did the victim have an earpiece in an ear in which he couldn't hear?
Ha! You only get one shot in life. There's no turning back. If you want to claim that the mirror wasn't there, Wright, then this problem is all yours. How do you explain what the old man saw?
If I can answer this, then that'll be much closer to the truth. I can feel it. Save's coming. Are you gonna be okay? Can you really solve this contradiction, Nick? There's more than just one. There's more than just this one contradiction, Maya. What do you mean? Remember what Maggie told us? There was another man at the victim's table. And there was a sample CD on the victim's table. It all flies in the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony. And I think I know the reason why nothing in this case is adding up.
Well, Mr. Wright, let's hear your answer.
Yes, Your Honor. The reason behind all the contradictions in Mr. Kudo's testimony is simple. The ear doctor made a mistake. Mr. Kudo made a mistake. The victim was a phony? Could it be this? This case is riddled with contradictions. Yet there is one very simple answer that clears them all up.
And what is that?
The incident Mr. Kudo witnessed and the incident the victim experienced were two completely different events.
What?
What? Yes, the victim that Mr. Kudo saw wasn't Glenn Elg at all. It was an imposter, a phony, pretended to be Mr. Elg. Obviously, unlike the victim, there was nothing wrong with the imposter's left eardrum. That's how he ended up wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake. Ha.
Order? Order in the court. Settle down or I'll clear the courtroom.
Quiet, Gramps. Why don't you clear out of here, huh?
What do you say?
Trite. Are you saying that what Mr. Kudo saw was a setup?
Yes. Someone pretended to be Glenn Elg and acted out the whole coffee poison, all for the express purpose of creating a witness out of one Mr. Victor Kudo.
Get real, Trite. Why would anyone want to do that?
Isn't it obvious? The thing Mr. Kudo was most incensed about in his testimony was...
The serving girl.
The servant girl brought him a Javachino, but she put something in it. That's the servant girl right there in the defense chair. I remember her well.
It's so hard to believe, but...
There was one and only one reason to show Mr. Kudo this fake poisoning. To show Maggie Bird in the act of poisoning the coffee.
Are you insinuating that the waitress in the old man's story was a fake as well?
Yes, it was. It was, Violetta.
It's true that there were no other customers in the restaurant at that time, but... It's also true that the chef was there. He would have noticed what was happening.
That's right. Well, witness, if your restaurant really was the scene of such theatrics, you would have known about it, correct?
Ooh la la, this is most difficult for me. No, it's quite simple. All you have to do is testify. You are under oath, after all. Was there, in fact, a phony at Tribune that day? A phony! A big fat phony! The defense demands that Mr. Armstrong tell the whole truth about what happened.
The defense's request for additional testimony is accepted. We will accurately explain in detail the events in the restaurant that day.
Oui. I don't even know the victim who passed away. The victim, Monsieur Elg, he came to my restaurant alone. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. There were no other customers. When he got word he won the lottery, Mon Elg became very excited. No French person talks like this. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning occurred. No, there was no time for a phony to do the acting.
Just so we're clear, there was no mirror in the restaurant after all.
Je vous demande pardon. Forgive me, Your Honor. I lied because I wanted this mess to be cleared up quickly.
What you have just done is commit perjury, Mr. Armstrong. I will decide how to punish you later.
Oui. Oh, really? You're not gonna make any kinky jokes about punishment? Kinky.
For now, we'll hear your cross-examination. Mr. Wright, if you please.
I'm gonna grab this chef, pull out his bare buttocks, give him a spanking. But I'm guessing he'll be in more serious trouble after this cross-examination. Okay. there were no other customers. It was approximately 5 minutes later. Let's see. They when do they announce the win in lottery tickets? Every 1:30 p.m. And the time of death happened between 1:30. So there was no time for a phony to do acting. Let's just cross-examine everything. Maybe we can get him to expand his testimony. Was he alone at his table as well? My wee, I saw him from the kitchen. Yet the defendant, Miss Bird, remembers it differently. She swears there was another man at the victim's table.
Huh. Unfortunately for you, Wright. Yesterday's witness also testified that the victim was alone. You know, seeing you squirm like that reminds me of a certain coffee's bittersweet bite.
What kind of coffee has he been drinking? It's not coffee, it's love. It's love that's bittersweet. Hearing Maya say that makes her seem wise all of a sudden. Chocolate is also bittersweet. I remember an old man arrived not long after him. By old man, you mean Victor Kudo, correct? He comes often for my special coffee. He comes for the waitress.
I drank your coffee once, Mr. Armstrong. It's special, I'll give you that. It's worth a sip just for the experience.
Oh, you make me so happy, monsieur. You are most welcome every time.
I said it was worth one sip, and nothing more.
Yeah, your coffee is shit. So old Mr. Kudo arrived at the restaurant around the same time as the victim.
This coffee's bitter, like my soul.
Don't ask how many minutes after. Let me say first, because, like, if the first question doesn't get me anything, I'll, ask the other question. So you're saying that not much time elapsed between when the victim and Mr. Kudo arrived? Oui, that is correct. But that still leaves the possibility that something happened in the gap of time. And by your recollection, how much time would you say elapsed? Let me see. Approximately 2 minutes, I would say. 2 minutes? That's all?
It seems unlikely that anything untoward could have happened in such a short time.
Right. I knew I shouldn't have pursued this line of questioning. Okay, let's try the other line of questioning then. Do I really have to ask you 2 more times? Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Kudo arrived? Oh no, I cannot remember, monsieur.
I believe we were told by a witness yesterday.
The crime was reported at 2:25 p.m. by a kind of scary old man, sir.
Does that perhaps jog your memory, witness?
Listen, it happened about 20 minutes after he arrived. So the victim must have arrived between 2 p.m. and 2:10 p.m., no? Just after 2, huh? Thank you for your help in jogging my memory, monsieur. You are wonderful.
I can't sit here all the time and do nothing now, can I? The time of day will be added to the witness's testimony.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Merci bien. That's French, isn't it? Ha ha! I'm so glad I took those Duolingo courses.
I'm glad at least one person is in a good mood. He's even humming a song to himself. Please, for love of all things holy, give us a new judge in Ace Attorney 7, just after 2 p.m. Are you absolutely sure about the time? When I think really hard, I am sure it was just after 2. Whee! It is the time I stopped serving the lunch menu.
Yeah, quite right. I always break for lunch when the restaurants are serving their specials. I've been known to wind up a case early just to make it on time. Haha.
I guess you should never get between a hungry judge and his lunch. Oh, right, that happened in the first game. The 5th trial.
Oh, would you look at that? It is almost lunchtime already.
Your Honor! Witness! Get on with your testimony, please. I just ate pizza. There were no other customers. So your only customers were Mr. Kudo and the victim.
How many times do you need to ask the same thing, Wright? You never catch me drinking the same blend twice.
Huh?
You're trying to establish the presence of a phony victim in the restaurant, but you're wasting your time. You can't grind birdseed to make coffee, if you catch my drift.
But there's a hole in this testimony somewhere, I'm sure of it. When he got word he won the lottery, Monarch became very excited. Did you see him? No, I was in the kitchen, but I heard him. I remember him shouting, yes, $500,000
Presumably the defendant heard that too, then, correct?
Maggie? She looked like a poor little frightened dove. And what about Mr. Kudo? The old man choked on some birdseed that got stuck in his throat.
Huh. Seems to now have yet another incident on our hands.
5 minutes later. And what were you doing at that point? Without any customers, you must have had time to kill. I am a multi-talented woman, monsieur. Sorry, what did you mean? There is the renowned chef, Jean Armstrong, and the tragic poet, Clarice Armstrong. Oh, I see. It's like, Ben Franklin using a female pen name.
Clarice?
Oui, I was writing a poem. An angry tale of a chef and $500,000 of debt. Cooking for a man who won $500,000 on the lottery. It is called Pourquoi. It means why. Perhaps I could recite it for the court. Please don't. But hey, that means you have had a motive to kill. There was no time for a phony to do the acting. You mean you contacted the police as soon as the incident occurred? I asked the old man to call from the payphone.
By your own argument, Wright. The purpose of this phony victim's performance was so the old man would see it. In other words, once the incident occurred, this opportunity would completely disappear.
Indeed. Bien, it seems the shadow of doubt has been lifted, Cinepa. I guess Armstrong is connected to this case, huh? Absolutely. Someone was impersonating Mr. Oak, and I refuse to believe he was oblivious. He was there the whole time, after all. But if you're right, wouldn't Maggie have noticed too? She fell unconscious when the incident occurred, remember? Ah, you mean that's when the phony staged his act? We'll know for sure once I find a hole in this testimony. Again with the holes. Let's see. Just after, there were no other customers. Old man arrived after 2 p.m. Phoenix said that that's where the problem lies, right? Like, let me check to make sure. No? It was this one. Right? There's a hole in this testimony somewhere. Right? Why would this contradict that? I'm afraid I finally got you, Mr. Armstrong. I tried to, like, load the game to get an achievement, but then I remembered I saved after the thing. You get an achievement if you press them on every statement, and that includes asking both the wrong question and the right question on statement 2, but, like, I saved over that part, so I can't do that. I can't go back to get the achievement. I would have to start this episode all over again. I'm not doing that shit. At the time in question, the victim was listening to the radio with his earpiece. The show he was listening to was Millionaire Radio. Each week, they announced the winning numbers on the $500,000 lottery ticket. Wee, that must be the show Monel was listening to.
I can't see any problem with his testimony, Mr. Wright.
Me either. What the fuck are you talking about? I wonder. Huh? You say the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2 p.m., correct? Oh, but the time of death was 1:30. I am sure of it now. I remember perfectly now. I know it was that time because I just finished serving a lunch menu.
Get to the point, Wright, if you have one.
That show is broadcast live at 1:30 p.m., and it claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life. What?
It's on the air at 1:30.
Now, supposedly, the victim made some noise when it was announced that he had won. And yet, I don't believe his cry of joy could have occurred after 2 p.m. Because the show had already finished more than 30 minutes earlier by that point in time. No! This victim we've been told about has done nothing but the impossible. Listening to the radio with a ruptured eardrum, catching a show that was already over. There is only one conclusion you can draw from these facts. This victim was an imposter, acting out the poisoning 30 minutes after the real murder. Yes, there were 2 Glenelgs in Tribulations that day. The real Glenelg, now dead, having been poisoned by the real killer. And the phony Glenelg, acting out the events for Mr. Kudo to witness.
It certainly seems that way. I mean, if that wasn't the case, how could you explain the time discrepancy?
Quite a performance, Trite. You were almost on a roll.
Huh?
But sadly, you lack the rock-hard foundation of rhythm to build your song.
What is this? Music Theory 101?
Let's recap. According to your imaginative theory, it's now just after 2 p.m. The Phonielg is performing a play for the benefit of Mr. Kudo. How do you explain, then, where the real Glenelg is?
I don't fucking know. He was under the table. I don't believe I have to spell this out for the court. However, at the time, the real Glenelg was already dead.
That's certainly the obvious conclusion.
Thank you, Trite. That's exactly what I was hoping you would say.
What?
Now, I presume you can prove this theory of yours. Can you explain where the missing corpse went to?
A missing corpse?
According to the old man's testimony, there was only one other customer there. If that customer was the phony Glenelg, then where did the killer hide the body of the real victim?
Gah!
The prosecution has a valid point, Mr. Wright. If your theory is to stand up to examination by the court, you must provide us with proof by answering the prosecution's question. Where did the killer hide the body?
Yes, Your Honor.
No conjecture, Trite. Let's hear some facts for once. Show the court a piece of evidence that proves where the body was hidden.
Evidence? What's with the intense pressure here all of a sudden? I thought I had him with that contradiction. But he's turned it all around and backed me into a corner instead.
Well, Mr. Wright, the court will now hear the defense's theory and evidence. First, where was the body of the real Mr. L concealed?
I'm willing to bet it was inside Tribulations. It would have been too dangerous to take the body outside. Obviously, the body must have been hidden somewhere inside Tribulations.
Interesting. But where could the body have been hidden inside a restaurant? Perhaps you would care to show the court on these plans, Mr. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor. Where the body was concealed inside Tribulations is... shoot. It would have to have been the kitchen, right? That's... The body was hidden here. I see. Nice supposition, but... Where's the evidence that proves the body was hidden in that location? Oh, fuck. Did I get something wrong? Shoot. Let me look at my evidence. Because maybe this... I need to find... Oh! Oh! The medicine! Mr. Armstrong, do you recognize this bottle? No! I have never seen that ugly bottle before in my life. I only lose the very best bottles, monsieur. It's the highest quality, only for me.
Where was that bottle found, Mr. Wright?
Interestingly enough, Your Honor, it was found in the kitchen of Tribulations. Eh? Quoi? But I only ever use these bottles for my aromatherapy oils. Nuh-uh. But this bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy oil, Mr. Armstrong. No, it contains a medication.
What kind of medication?
I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they? That Mr. Elg visited an otolaryngological clinic and was given medicine that day.
You can't be serious.
The defense had the contents of the bottle analyzed, and I have the lab results here. The contents of the bottle match the prescription that was given to Mr. L. Glen Elg's murderer hid the body in the restaurant kitchen, at which time this bottle fell out of the victim's pocket. Mr. Armstrong, when the incident occurred, didn't you say you were in the kitchen? Mon Dieu! Yes, you know what I'm about to say. It was you who hit the victim's body. Mamma mia! I'm guilty. Guilty. Woo-hoo-hoo. You did a fine job pretending to defend my client, Maggie Bird. However, you were setting her up to take the fall behind the poor girl's back. No!
Order! Order! This is an extraordinary development. Witness, did you murder Glen Elg?
Never! I could not do such an horrible thing. Oh. Oh, shit.
Mr. Godot? The bitterness. Every time I get lied to, I always down a mug of coffee. That's one of my rules.
You know the size idea how many cups you've had by now? Yeah, your bowel movements must be insane.
I like to do the same to the person who lied to me. I like to take them down with my empty cup. Listen up, chef. How about a brand new flavor in your ear, my H-deficient friend?
Je vous demande pardon. Please, you must hear me out. It's a trap. Listen to me. Por favor.
Yo hablo español, Mr. Armstrong, and por favor is Spanish.
Ooh. I'm only gonna ask you once. Did you do it?
No, absolutely no. I simply...
Let's hear it. You got one shot, right, Gramps?
Witness, the court will permit you the chance to make one final statement. If you lie under oath again, Mr. Godot's coffee mug awaits you, as does my gavel.
It is clear. What do they always say in the movies? I've got a bad feeling about this. Is that a Star Wars reference?
Very well. Begin your final testimony, Mr. Armstrong.
It is true. I hid the body in the kitchen. A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. I had to go along with him because there was a reason why I could not refuse. But I did not kill him. I swear it. You must have believed me.
You were forced? By who?
I cannot say, or I will be erased. I don't care if I don't get every achievement. I'm not a completionist. Unlike some of these achievements, they aren't exactly funny, are they? Like, fucking turning your badge. That's a funny achievement. Let's try a different question, then. I really hope the Yes Daddy is an achievement in the Ace Attorney trilogy, and you get this achievement when you, by triggering the dialogue, where Edgeworth tells you to put a sock in it, and Phoenix responds with, Yes, Daddy. When Mr. Elk died, was he really the only person at his table? There was. Boom! We got it! There was another man! Oh, great. No, wait, now I know where this is going. Now I'm gonna be suspected of poisoning the victim because we have the same haircut. Maggie was telling the truth.
You may cross-examine the witness now, Mr. Wright.
There's just one more thing I need to do. I gotta break this guy. Get him to tell us the name of the real killer. Permission to treat this witness as hostile. Permission granted. I'm gonna shoot you in the face. That would ruin my day. It is true. I hid the body in the kitchen. Did you carry the body by yourself? Oui, I carried him, and I carried Maggie too. Maggie too? When she saw the victim collapse, she fainted. I could not leave her there.
But why'd you hide the bodies?
A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. What man? Who was he? No, I cannot say. I fear for my life. You are under oath. He's really scared. You'll just have to put the words in his mouth, Nick. Yeah, you're right. If he won't tell me, I'll tell him.
But why would you go along with this man?
I had to go along with him because there was a reason why I could not refuse. And what reason would that be, Armstrong? You know, monsieur. Yes? Surely you cannot expect the young maiden to talk about such an embarrassment. A maiden? You're a bit old to get away with that. And a bit too male. And you definitely, do not have the virginity of a maiden. Phoenix Wright, he's a virgin. He'd make an excellent maiden. I can't finish the cross-exam without establishing a reason, so I'll just have to prove it with evidence. But I did not kill him, I swear it, he must have believed me. So wait, do I have to present evidence? Because that's not something I would do an objection, but okay. You have a $500,000 debt, don't you?
$500,000? Is this true, Mr. Armstrong?
Oui, just so. I was weak, and I borrowed the money.
This is Mr. Armstrong's Achilles heel. And that's why you couldn't refuse anything asked of you by... this man. A $500,000 loan from a black market loan shark. The way I see it, all loan sharks are black market loan sharks. And you had no way of paying it back, did you? That's why you were forced to do anything this man told you to.
Oui, it is as you say.
Mr. Armstrong.
A tiger. He told me he was going to use my restaurant for a business rendezvous. On the day in question, he was meeting the victim to demands I repay his loan. I don't know why it happened like that. I just did what he told me to do. I had no choice. I carried the body and the inconscient Maggie out of the dining area and into the kitchen. After that, I just tried to forget what I had seen.
I think we can now safely say that the man who forced your hand was Mr. Furio Tiger.
I do have one further question for you, Mr. Armstrong. Poison and lottery ticket that were found in the defendant's apron pocket. Was that your doing as well?
No, I knew nothing about that. Make it look like it was Maggie who had done it. I was not. It is despicable.
You better be telling the truth, Frenchie.
You will summon this Furio Tiger as a witness. I doubt that can be arranged today, so we will adjourn for now. Proceedings will continue tomorrow.
30 minutes. What? The trial will go on. I'll see to it myself. I need half an hour to get that guy on the stand. Not a minute more.
How the...
Don't sit back and relax yet, Wright. No one knows if that chef is really telling the truth or not. This trial could still go either way.
Very well. Your request is granted, Mr. Godot. We will resume once Mr. Tiger is ready to take the stand. Until then, court is adjourned for a 30-minute recess.
So we're finally going to see the tiger on the stand. We've almost got this case won now, Nick. I wish I could agree. Sorry. Huh? When I cross-examined Mr. Armstrong just now, he said he was just doing what the tiger told him to do. But Godot picked up on it, remember? If Phoenix Wright wasn't smashed, he should have like a Furio Tiger alt, and like his attorney's badge should be replaced with the cardboard attorney's badge. Godot picked up on it, remember? He pointed out that without proof, we don't know if what he testified is the truth. You mean, you think Mr. Armstrong was lying? I don't know. But if that's the line the prosecution takes, we could be in trouble. I got a feeling that we don't have the case-making evidence we're going to need. Like, But wait, isn't he the prosecution's witness? Why would the prosecution argue that what is essentially his client is lying? Because that's what it's like. Because, like, I don't know if that's how it works in real life, but in the Ace Attorney world, at the very least, the prosecutor seems to treat their witnesses as their clients. I guess the witnesses could be seen as representative of the states that are of the state that is prosecuting the, like the people of the state that is prosecuting the defense. Hey, pal. Detective Gumshoe. Why are you so jumpy about, Detective? Your hair is standing on end.
Hey, that's the pot calling the kettle black, little Miss Topknot.
It's not a top knot. Why is everyone so judgmental about Maya's appearance? Even Phoenix. Never mind about the hair. Just calm down, alright?
I can't stand still when I don't have a job to do. I kinda get wound up.
Urgh. No kidding.
You gotta have something you need me to do, pal. Anything.
Well,
Hey, I'm gonna take a jog back down to the precinct. I could get some prints analyzed for you if you got an hour.
An hour? The trial will have reconvened by then. But Nick, we still don't have a really decisive piece of evidence, right? True. Without some kind of trump card to pull out of the bag, we're really stuck. You said you could get some fingerprints analysis done in an hour?
You bet.
In that case, would you mind checking the prints on this for me? Oh, yeah. It's all coming together. This. If you're going back to the station anyway, could you find out whose prints are on this?
Oh, hey. That's the small bottle I gave back to you this morning, right? Right?
Yeah, I think it's time we solved the last mystery of who the prints on it belongs to.
Sure thing, pal. Actually, that's been gnawing at me, too.
Small bottle given to Detective Gumshoe.
Okay, I'll get this off to the lab right away. Just make sure you don't lose the case before I get back.
No promises. This is pretty much the final showdown, I guess. It's time to separate the phonies from the real guys. Separate the phonies from the homies. Blah, 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 blah.
Court will now reconvene. Miss Cadeau, did you find this, Furio Tiger?
I even tamed him for you. It was a 3-cup job. No problem.
Is that a reference to, like, a 3 pipes of... Because, like, Sherlock Holmes, if, when he's solving a problem, it takes 3 pipes of tobacco. Of course, he also does cocaine. Tamed him? The guy's name may be Furio Tiger, but come on.
He's pretty lively. Be careful, he still bites.
Very well. Please show Mr. Tiger to the stand.
Damn.
Witness. Please state name.
Oh, boy. Don't hide on the table, Maya. Unless there's room for me down there, too.
Would you mind? What'd you say to me? Nothing. I didn't say nothing. Honest.
Who could have guessed that fear would induce a bad Brooklyn accent in the judge?
I got business to take care of, you hear me? So who the hell called me into this hole? Was it you, Spiky?
No, of course not. He can't hurt you in here, Phoenix. It was the judge. He fucking... Your Honor!
Oh dear, I seem to have dropped my pen. Where on earth in it?
He's just under the desk. He's just under the table, just repeatedly pressing an emergency panic button.
Don't mind me, just carry on with the proceedings as normal.
That's it. We're doomed. Excuse me, I dropped my pen.
Maybe you just didn't hear me. I said, who the hell was it that called me in here?
There's no need to shout. We can all hear you.
What do you say?
There's no point struggling. You're caught in a snare. The relentless snare of the law. And I'm the one that hauled you in.
Too cool. Don't let him get the better of you, Nick.
Let's start with the basics. You know about the incident in question, correct?
Incident? I don't know nothing about no stinking incident, mask boy.
You mean you didn't attend the previous trial of Maggie Bird?
Maggie, you? I've got more important things to do than watch courtroom dramas. Of course. Well, perhaps you could give us your testimony then. Please tell us about what you did on the day of the murder. Phoenix Wright.
Eh?
You's the one who set this up, didn't you? You was gonna regret the day you ruffled the tiger's fur. You hear what I'm saying?
Maybe I should have brought a diaper with me today.
Get a grip, Nick. Yeah, don't talk about pooping your pants. I thought you grew past that.
I'm sorry. For what? Poop in my pants.
I don't know nothing about no murder. I was tied up with business in December last year. Spent all of my time in my office. I got whales lined up to borrow cash from Tenderlander every single day. You just want to check my alibi? Just ask Violetta. At last I found my pen. Very well then, Mr. Wright.
Get your fucking dog, bitch! It don't bite. Yes, it do! Get that!
But please, witness, you can rainbow shouting like that. I know the kind of games that guy in the blue plays. That lowlife ain't no lawyer. He just punches away at stupid details until he wins.
Never before have I been so offended by something I 100% agree with. Low life? Me?
Listen up, somebody. Every time you ask me something that don't relate to this case, I'm gonna bill you $500, and you's gonna borrow the cash from me.
You can't exactly lend money if you'll be in jail, fuckface. That's one loan contract I refuse to sign.
And I don't think it ain't gonna hurt when you tangle with the tiger.
I'm just making him sound like a meaner dick gumshoe. It's if Detective Gumshoe had an abrasive side, like remember when SpongeBob SquarePants gave himself a green side? He is the green side of Detective Gumshoe's sponge, his little sponge.
I love a good spectator sport.
Yeah, just a minute. That's really not... This witness is...
How can I put it? A hungry tiger roaming the urban jungle.
Really should have said concrete jungle.
Get on his bad side, and I'll bite everyone's heads off. Yours, too.
Very well. I have no choice but to impose a penalty system here.
What? Why not hold him in contempt of court? What?
Oh, Phoenix Wright, you're making this a kangaroo court.
Fuck you. Fuck you, judge. Fuck the judge. Fuck the prosecution. Fuck the witness. Fuck everyone in this goddamn courtroom.
If I don't split now, I ain't gotta catch my bus.
Court for any irrelevant precedent witness. Keep that in mind. I'm gonna have to do a perfect run. Okay, we're gonna have to do a perfect run. I was tied up with business in December last year. Are you sure about that? We are talking about 1 month ago, you know.
You see these teeth? That's how sharp my secretary is.
Sharp? Is he talking about Viola Cadaverini?
She writes everything on my schedule. December, mainly in the office. That's what it says, so that's where I was. That seems like a rather sketchy schedule.
I have no problems with it, Your Honor! There he goes again. What the tiger did all December is the issue. What's important is what he was doing on the day of the murder, so now what? Mr. Tiger.
What do you want?
If you wouldn't mind going into a bit more detail.
This is a dead-end tried and you know it.
Remember the rules.
Oh! Phoenix fighting back. No! It's essential that we establish the witness's alibi accurately.
I agree.
The victim was killed on December 3rd. Were you in the office that day too?
Maybe you ain't listening. Of course I was. I never set foot outside. I had meetings all day with a bunch of cats wanting to do business with me. I ain't never seen that young kid before. I do believe the witness's last statement was important. Mr. Godot, if you could please...
Mr. Tiger, the court asks that you add the last test statement to your testimony.
Don't let an animal beat you. Be a man, Your Honor, and ask him yourself. We have got to put that judge in jail for miscarriage of justice, I swear to fucking God. And, like, I'm not just talking about these cases. I'm talking about, like, the cases where Phoenix wasn't there, where, like, Edgeworth used forged evidence to get a guilty verdict for someone who might not have done the crime. The judge delivered the verdict. He put the nail in those people's coffins. I never saw that kid before. This... Yeah. See, this would say differently. Mr. Tiger, you claim you didn't know Mr. Glenelg, but it appears that Mr. Glenelg knew you.
What?
Mr. Aw, fuck. Mr. Elg left this little note on his calendar. Meet with the Tiger. And the date? December 3rd.
December 3rd? That's the day of the murder.
So, Mr. Tiger, I submit that you did indeed know one Mr. Glenelg, because on the very day of the incident, you met with him.
Not bad. You was actually not bad.
Sorry.
I was just messing with you to see how good you were.
He was just committing perjury, you know, as a silly goof, as a goof. Did you hear that, Nick? He said you're not bad. That's one compliment I can do without. Plus, he's lying through his teeth.
Witness, please remember that you're under oath. Lies will not be tolerated. You's called me a liar? Is that what you's doing?
If the shoe fits, wear it. You Yakuza rip. Ruh-roh!
So you're saying that your claim to have never seen that kid before is the truth?
I said I'm dead serious. You's better believe that's the truth.
Heh. Then I'd say that gives me time to enjoy another cup of pure black magic. That is, while you testify for the court again, Mr. Tiger.
Oh yes, would you mind indulging the court, witness?
You never actually met the victim? That's gotta be a lie right there. It's time I nailed this guy. Ha 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 ha. That's what she said. No, that's what he said. Phrasing, sorry. I'm just, like, at a loss for words today. Or am I? Dun dun dun.
There was some lame guy with that name that wanted to borrow cash from me. I set up a meeting with the guy at my office, 10 to lender. I waited around for him, but he ain't never showed. I never even been to that Tribulations joint, you see?
Oh, I got you now.
I see. That all seems perfectly logical. You had arranged to meet with the victim, but he didn't show up.
I've heard it's pretty hard to keep appointments when you're dead.
Very well. You may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor. Unless you're friends with a spirit, unless your sister's a spirit medium.
Didn't I tell you I got a big deal going down today? I ain't gotta make my bus. I ain't gonna make my bus now. I'm gonna have to take the express train. Now, that bill's going straight to you, right?
God. You'll have to kill me for it. Okay. I'm still saving because we never know just what bullshit this kangaroo court will pull. Never been there? Then what the hell is this? Mr. Tiger, is there something you'd like to tell the court about these matches?
Matches? What are you talking about?
We found them in your office, at Tender Lender. They're from that restaurant.
What?
If you've really never been to Tribulations before, what was a book of the restaurant's matches doing on your desk?
You've been snooping around in my stuff too, wise guy. What are you, my ball and chain? Ain't no broad controlling me.
Phoenix is a bad lawyer. He's breaking the law. He's using surprise evidence. That evidence shouldn't be admissible.
laughs and updated autopsy report.
Order! Order! Well, witness, I think it's time you started telling us the truth, don't you?
Sorry, I'm terribly sorry, forgive me.
I ain't no pussycat. I don't go back on what I said. But okay, I was at the joint that day.
What?
But listen good, alright? I might have been there, but I still never met that kid.
Well, well. Looks like an order just came in for another testimony.
I'm this close to proving it was him. He did meet Glen Elk that day, and he did put poison in his coffee. He must have.
I was supposed to meet with a kid at the restaurant that afternoon. When I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly scene. The guy was laid out over the table, stiff as concrete. I figured if the place wasn't hot already, it was gonna be, so I split. I heard the cop siren on my way out, and I went straight back to my office. I see. You didn't actually meet with him in the end, then. Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hold it. If I wait around here any longer, I ain't even gonna make the normal express. No more stupid questions. Ha!
No problem.
That's fine. I only need one evidence. Yeah, I got it.
Mr. Godot, that's my job.
Your job is to slam that little hand of yours and call a guilty verdict.
You know, that's funny. I heard the same words from Manfred von Karma. You know why he isn't prosecuted? Because he's in jail for murder.
So do it.
Yes, sir. The special express ain't cheap, right? Just so yous know, since yous paying.
I won't have to pay shit if you're in jail, faker.
Faker?
I think you're the fake lawyer around here. You're comparing yourself to me. You're not even good enough to be my... I believe you eat those words! Oh man, doesn't the rule of law mean anything around here? Might be the most smartest question that anyone has ever asked in this entire series.
I was supposed to meet with the kid at the restaurant that afternoon.
Uh-huh.
When I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly scene.
I figured the place wasn't... The cop siren on my way out. I figured... It was gonna be... I guess I'll just press. So the meeting wasn't due to take place at Tyndall at all then.
The kid was making a fuss about coming into the office. It's always that way when I want to talk about repayments. Even though I got the best punching bag you've ever seen if there are any issues.
Maybe it's because of the punching bag that people are scared to come. So that's why you decided to meet at Tribune. You fucker.
You're going over old ground again, Wright.
Sorry.
You just earned yourself a penalty.
Ha! Thank you, sir. I may have another. I'm not gonna take this sitting down. Mostly because Phoenix is standing up. So you don't press him on that. So the guy laid over the table, stiff as concrete. You mean you saw Glen Elk's dead body?
I guess I did, but I only saw him from behind. He was wearing some raggy bit of cloth he called a hat.
And what time was this? See, that's an important fuck you.
Huh? You know what winds me up more than anything else in the world? Watches. Round watches.
That's funny. Usually it's the other way around. Usually you wind up the watch. Oh god, I've turned into the clown. The sad clown.
I ain't gonna pollute my paws with some ticking henpecker. Out of interest, Mr. Tiger, what winds you up the second most? Huh? What do you think? Square watches.
Is this guy for real? I can get you a triangle watch if...
Look, all I need to know was that something bad was going down at that place. I figured if the place wasn't hot already, it was gonna be, so I split.
So you didn't actually step foot inside the restaurant then?
The Tiger's a busy cat. I don't hang around for no one. I ain't got time to be caught up in no murder investigation.
So, when exactly did you pick up the matches?
There are matches just inside the front door. Our detective friend wound up in trouble with the chef after taking $5 home.
Poor Gumshoe. It's almost enough to make a man cry. He needs those matches because his one-room apartment doesn't have any heating.
I heard the cop's sirens on my way out, and I went straight back to my office.
One of these has got to give us new information. You went straight back? Did a bit of guilt suddenly hit you for what you did?
What yous trying to say? You trying to tell me yous ain't never been guilty of nothing?
The only thing I'm,
We all have our crosses to bear.
Yeah, you're a piece of shit.
We all have to swallow the dark secrets we hide.
Like this!
The courtroom's not exactly the place to talk about dark secrets, is it? Don't do it. Lifts my hands, you fucker. Judge, when this is over, I am going to rip off your head and shit down your neck. He says that he never set foot inside the restaurant, but he had to have in order to collect this. Game won't even let me be smart. Oh. It's the floor plans. You're something of a loan collecting pro, aren't you, Mr. Tiger?
No one escapes the tiger's clutches.
Well, I'm something of a scientist, lie detecting pro. And no one escapes the Phoenix's clutches. No one's faster than me. I think it's time we got something straight.
What's this, Wright? A new line of irrelevant questioning?
The straight agenda, the heterosexual agenda. These are the floor plans of the crime scene. Sorry. Excuse me. You say you were standing at the entrance, Mr. Tiger. From there, your field of vision would have covered an area something like this.
Indeed, the witness would have had a clear view of the victim's seat. Isn't that what I just said? I saw the back of the kid's head.
Nope. Unfortunately for you, that is not possible. If the court would think back, you'll remember that between each of the tables... close this. Yeah, I'm still recording. I, opened up a strategy guide because fuck this game, it's cheating with me. I picked some smart-ass answers, but no, that's not good. No, you have to do this. It penalizes me just for asking questions. Fuck you. This court ain't playing fair. I'm not playing fair. Tall partition.
Why, that's true.
Now look at the plans again. The truth is painfully obvious. From the entrance, the field vision of any customer walking in... Oh, that's the entrance? I thought the other end... thought it was in the middle. It was there. Ends here. So, from the entrance of Tribune, you couldn't have seen the victim's seat. But you did see the victim that day, because you met with him.
Ron, have you forgotten the old man's testimony yesterday? The victim was alone at his table.
But the defense just proved that point to be moot. The victim witnessed by Mr. Kudo was not Glen Elg, but a fake.
What?
In order to have Mr. Kudo falsely testify, the real killer posed as the victim and had just killed and acted out a charade.
That will do. This trial has gone on long enough without the obvious question being answered. Who exactly was this real killer who impersonated the victim? You say the killer murdered Glen Elg, and then impersonated his victim in a performance for Victor Kudo? In that case, Mr. Wright, reveal the identity of this criminal to the court.
Oh, shit. Couldn't have been her, because I believe that she was impersonating the... so it had to have been this guy. Obviously, the killer's Furio Tiger. No one else could have done it.
What? Well, witness? Now that's cute. You think you can pin this on the tiger? Maybe yous don't understand. The tiger is king of the jungle. So I dares you to say it again. Come on, you got the guts. You can't threaten me, Mr. Tiger. Here's the defense. Go ahead and tell the witness, Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright.
I'm not reading that, I'm just drinking.
Mr. Wright, do not leave me alone. Leave us alone.
Pussy.
Perhaps I can end this embarrassment.
Mr. Godot.
Let's just go back over Mr. Kudo's testimony one more time. The old man didn't see just the victim. Oh, no.
Oh, yes, the servant girl. But he wasn't paying attention to her face. That's Viola.
Was the victim he saw the real victim or not? That doesn't matter. The fact remains, he saw the accused put the poison into the coffee.
Yes, it was the waitress who poisoned the coffee.
Very impressive, Mr. Godot. Waiting for my absence to launch your attack.
Huh.
Found your pen at last, Trite?
It was in my pocket. But anyway, Mr. Kudo witnessed two people that day. He saw the victim, the supposed Mr. Glenelg, and the waitress from behind.
Yes, your point, Mr. Wright.
I think the conclusion is obvious. If this Glen Elg was really the killer in disguise, then surely it's possible that the waitress was also part of the show.
What? You mean the waitress was an imposter as well?
The defendant, Miss Bird, fell unconscious immediately after the incident. And we have another witness who can confirm that, and someone used her fainting to hatch an elaborate plan to pin the murder on her.
Who on earth was it? Who was this waitress that Mr. Kudo witnessed?
Oh, I can tell you that. It's her.
Who is this woman?
Her name is Viola Cadaverini. She's an employee of Tenderlender.
You's making a big mistake. Do you know who Violetta's grandfather is? You better be going home in an armored truck tonight, if you know what I mean.
Stop shaking, Nick. Well, where was I? Yes, the defendant, Miss Bird, has stated the following. Phoenix will be fine. He's under protection from the mafia family from Yakuza. You know, under special protection of Goro Majima after he defended him in court one time. That's real, look it up. Well, when I took the coffee over to the victim's table, it's true there was another customer in the restaurant. She was sort of creepy. And she had a kind of cackling laugh. There are just too many contradictions in this case. The second man at the victim's table who nobody but Miss Bird seems to have seen. The earpiece worn by the victim in his left ear when that eardrum was ruptured. And the radio show he was supposedly listening to half an hour after it was over. There is only one logical explanation that clears up all of these contradictions. The whole incident took place twice, once for real and once for show. And Mr. Furio Tiger, the only person who could have committed a crime, is you!
Witness, what have you got to say? That's cute. Sorry. You's alright. I could do with a guy like you around.
What do you mean?
Okay, I'm in on this game. I'm gonna have to charter a jet to get me to my meeting now, but I'm gonna give yous one more thing to think about before I go.
Something to think about?
Yous got it all wrapped up nice, alright? But yous missed out one real important thing.
But that can't be.
I was in the joint that day, and I met that kid too. But I couldn't have poisoned him, you see ya?
What?
Do you really expect us to believe you now, Mr. Tiger?
What a troublemaker.
Troublemaker?
Looks like we're gonna need another one for the road.
One more steaming cup of hot testimony. Indeed. Witness, you will explain yourself to the court. I will give you one more chance to testify. What happened that day at Tribulations between yourself and the victim?
Final testimony. Here we go.
Yeah, I loaned out cash. About $100,000. That day, we was due to have a little chat. The kid had hit his paycheck back date, see?
There's so... I don't know what is on my leg. It might be like a hair or something. It feels like there's a spike.
So anyway, he tells me he's got no way to pay up. I'm about to flatten the guy when he starts screaming.
Yes, I won $500,000.
He got lucky, you know. Real lucky. If that waitress hadn't done what she done, everything would have been over. Now, I see that the principal amount you owned to Mr. Oak was $50,000. Yeah, well, so you just got the VIG to take into account. Interest builds up fast, you know.
God, interest. Interest shouldn't be a thing. You loan someone money, you should expect that same amount of money to be paid back to you. Oh, but how will I make profit off of loans without interest? I don't know, get a real job. That's faster than fast. $100,000 is twice his principal.
And the payment deadline was December 3rd, the day of the incident in question. Yeah, he was one lucky kid. He got that $500,000 just in time. So I ain't have no reason to kill the kid. And if I ain't got no motive, you ain't got no case.
His motive? He has to have one, but what is it? Ties to the... Oh, I'm assuming the penalty system is still in place. Don't press him on everything, or... First I'll wait for the hint from Maya. So the tiger was meeting Glen Elk to get his money back. If Mr. Oak had just given him the lottery ticket, that would have been the end of it. Yeah, so what's the tiger's motive? This is the big one. If I don't manage to undermine this testimony, it's all over for us. Why would he have to poison Mr. Oak? And why did he loan him the money in the first place, when he knew he couldn't repay him? Because that's what predatory lenders do. They lend money to people who they know can't afford to pay them back. And then, when the time comes to collect, they just repossess their shit. About $100,000. That day we was due to have a little chat. Tells me he's got no way to pay up. Screaming. Couldn't when she did, everything would have been over. Tiger's mean. Guess I do have to press him. But I'll do it. I'll have to be careful. The judge is watching. And he hates me. So, how much were you expecting him to pay you back on that day? Ah, fuck me. You wanna make it my work. And how many times
Has Mr. Oak been late with his repayments?
Once. And how much was he supposed to pay back every month?
$50.
Sounds like Mr. Oak was in a real sticky spot. Yeah, $50 a month, he'd never pay that huge loan off. That's how they get you. That's how loan companies fucking get you. Like, oh, I don't have to pay back that much money a month. Well, I can go off easy. Yeah, except the interest rates. It's always the interest rates. Fuck the interest rates. No way to pay up. Bound to flatten the guy. Everything would have been over. The waitress, you mean?
The girl with the glasses and the furniture. Who else could I mean? If she hadn't gotten in the way, things would have been bada bing, bada boom, over and done with.
Maybe I should push a little on this. Ask about how things would have been. What do you mean things would have been over and done with?
Are yous all there what? I'm talking about the cash. I was there to get my $100,000 back, that's all. I'm a businessman. It was all coming together before that waitress got in the way. As far as I can tell from the witness's testimony, other than recouping his loan, Mr. Tiger had no motive for killing the victim. Witness, you will amend your testimony to reflect what you just said.
Ah, now we're getting somewhere. Tiger's motive, eh? No other reason to kill the guy. Oh! Oh! Fuck me! No other reason to kill this guy. I got you now, you fucking moron bitch. So you just intended to get back the 100 grand Mr. L owed you, correct?
I loaned the guy the cash, so that's my right.
Nuh-uh. Unfortunately for Mr. Elg, I don't believe the $100,000 is what you were really after.
What are you getting at, Trite? What else would a moneylender be after other than money?
Physical assets. They lend you money, and they charge you interest rates that they know you can't pay back. Then they repossess your shit. Oh, the moneylender was after money, but money in a totally different league. The kind of money that a single disc like this would fetch. Repossession.
What is that?
A computer virus, Your Honor. A virus called MC Bomber.
A computer virus? What does one of those do?
A computer virus is a program that wreaks havoc on the insides of a computer.
A computer? What does one of those do?
Guess the beard isn't the only part of His Honor that is from the Stone Age. I cannot stress this enough. Fire this idiot! I'll explain it to you later, Your Honor. Right now, this is the important point. A virus like MC Bomber would be worth several $1 million on the black market.
Several $1 million?
Lending money with no hope of ever seeing repayment would normally be bad for business. Predatory lenders do it all the time. Fucking student loan companies do it all the time. But in this case, the very fact that Glen Elk had no way to repay the money is crucial.
What?
Glen Elk was a programmer, a highly skilled programmer. That skill was the collateral Mr. Elk put up in order to borrow the money. That's the term, collateral.
You're trying to suggest that the witness's motive was to get a hold of that program?
Exactly.
The witness may have poor fashion sense, but he's by no means an idiot, right? Man like him could have his hands on $1 million without resorting to murder.
Of course he could, provided he had time. But what if he had needed the money right then? When the pressure's on, the luxury of choice tends to disappear.
It seems you have a logical conclusion for this theory, Mr. Wright. Would you care to share it with us? Why did Mr. Tiger need money to the tune of $1 million?
Oh. This. In December of last year, you found yourself in need of a huge amount of money. About 6 months ago, you were involved in a traffic accident, weren't you? An accident involving a car and a scooter, in which a young woman was injured. This dude's driving without a helmet. She was taken to the hospital, where she underwent surgery.
How much of this do you know?
I'm the law. I know everything. These medical papers document the treatment of the young woman in question. According to these, her operation cost $1 million. And yet, when the repayment was due last month, you somehow managed to pay it in full.
$1 million? A preposterous sum. Someone should sue these HMOs.
Ah, finally, the judge says something that makes sense.
No one would pay a bill like that. If the medical association got wind of it, the hospital would end up as dead as a morgue.
Oh, wait, there's a medical association that can, ruin a hospital's career if it charges too much? Why haven't I heard about that? Oh, let me guess. Oh, that would be tyrannical. Government overreach. Individual freedom. Doctors have the right to charge you unfair amounts of money. Personal freedom. Personal responsibility. Non-aggression. Basically, libertarianism is just one big excuse to be selfish. Libertarianism
can be summed up in one phrase. But I don't wanna.
Because his very life depended on it.
Order! 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 You say his life depended on it, Mr. Wright?
Libertarians, when it's their turn to do the dishes. This is an infringement on my individual freedoms. Indeed it did. Simply because the injured woman was none other than Viola Cadaverini.
Did you say Cadaverini?
Vito Cadaverini, mob boss in charge of all underworld activities in the city, and doting grandfather to his precious Violetta, also known as Viola Cadaverini. Your life was in danger unless you paid compensation to the boss, correct? It makes sense. You were desperate to acquire the $1 million Vito Cadaverini demanded of you. So desperate, in fact, that you decided to sacrifice Glen Elg's life to pay your debt. On the day of the murder, the Mr. Tiger's sole intention was to get his hands on this CD. Glen Elg had no way of paying back the $100,000, and Mr. Tiger knew it. But then a miracle happened. The kind that Mr. Tiger would prefer to say never happened, but he can't, and neither can I. The lottery win. Exactly. At the 11th hour, Mr. Elg won $500,000 on the lottery, which left Mr. Tiger with no way of getting his hands on the all-important CD. At least, no legitimate way. So he resorted to illegitimate means. I mean, he maybe could have just come to an agreement like, "Hey, you give me that CD, and you can keep the lottery money that you just won." But of course, then Glen Pargood said, "Now, I'll pay you back. Fair is fair, right?" He murdered Glen Elg and then made his next move, to frame Maggie Bird for the crime. Mr. Tiger posed as Glen Elg, while Viola Cadaverini played the role of Miss Bird. And then they reenacted the whole thing in order to establish a witness. The witness being the one we all heard testify yesterday, Mr. Victor Kudo.
Like I said, Wright, that's crazy. No one could pull off a stunt like that.
Man, you can tell this guy's a rookie.
For starters, there's no way the chef would have been kept in the dark about it.
But Mr. Armstrong was in on it from the very beginning. Have you forgotten already, Mr. Godot? Mr. Armstrong owed the witness money too. $500,000, in fact. He had no choice but to go along with Mr. Tiger's plan.
Order! Order! Silence, or we'll clear the court! You's put on a good show, Spiky. If yous want to stay alive in the loan shark business, you gotta be careful. You saying I dressed up like that kid, created a witness, and framed someone? If I did something crazy like that, I'd leave a trail as bright as my shirt. I ain't dumb enough to do something sloppy like that.
Yes, I agree.
You do?
Despite your appearance, you are very careful. That's why you took one more precaution. One more trick to make sure Miss Bird had no way out.
What? Another one, Mr. Wright?
Oh, I think I can guess what it was.
Interesting. Why don't you fill us all in, Wright?
It was this fake attorney badge, Your Honor.
What on earth is that? What an insult to think anyone could be fooled by such a childish imitation.
I ain't even gonna dignify that with the response. Mr. Tiger, you didn't just pose as a victim on the day in question. A month ago in this very court, you posed as me.
What? That's
the truth.
But the witness looks nothing like you, Mr. Wright. Although, now that I think about it, it was you, wasn't it? No doubt it was you standing in here in this very court a month ago. The Phoenix Wright who put up the most disreputable, shabby defense I had ever seen.
My client is guilty AF, Your Honor.
Can you prove that, Gramps?
prove the attorney who represented the accused here a month ago was this man. Are you prepared to take the stand and testify that it was him?
Hey.
Forget about it, yeah?
My client pleads, who cares? And that we all just move on. I wouldn't do something like that.
No, not me. You made a mistake, right? It was someone else, huh?
Have you no pride, sir? What happened to Shane? What was he cooking? Does he know?
This isn't a matter of pride. In case you didn't know, Trite, here in court, we deal with people's lives.
And yeah, you are just so willing to throw away Maggie's life, even though all the evidence points that she couldn't have done it. Oh, well, you can have proof that someone else does it, so she should go to jail. Oh.
Mr. Godot is right.
God fucking damn it.
I have dementia.
Your Honor.
Speaking for myself, I am absolutely convinced. The attorney in question was the witness standing before me now. However, I preside over this court as the judge, with the vested power to hand down a verdict. Someone in my position cannot be swayed by memory without evidence to support it.
What the fuck are you talking about?
If the defense has no further evidence, the court will now excuse the witness. The circumstances surrounding Mr. Tiger are dubious for sure, but not conclusive.
I am going to...
You say he impersonated Glen Elk. You say he impersonated you. But none of that adds up to a murder charge. You don't have a shred of evidence that the witness poisoned the victim's coffee.
No! Wait.
Huh.
Gumshoe, where the fuck are you?
Sucks to be you, Wright. Don't mess with the tiger, or you's gonna get mauled. You's got that?
All we managed to do here was chase him around a bit. But I was so close to getting him to admit his own guilt. You're still going to jail for impersonation. And perjury.
Looks like I won't be needing a refill.
If I had just one more piece of evidence. One more piece of evidence and maybe I could get Maggie off the hook.
This witness cross-examination is over. You are free to go, Mr. Tiger.
Here it comes.
Your Honor, sir. Wait!
Yeah, Gumshoe, back in the nick of time. Detective Gumshoe! Detective Gumshoe!
Sorry it took so long, pal. I staked everything on this. My badge, the works. So here it is. My heart's counting on this, too. What is it, Detective? Isn't it obvious, pal? It's the final decisive piece of evidence.
What? Gumshoe, the MVP, the GOAT, coming in, player of the game, Detective Gumshoe.
Sorry it took so long, pal, but I finally got the results from the lab.
Oh, Gumshoe. The results?
About the prints, pal, from this medicine bottle.
Oh, so, do you know who the prints belong to now?
Do you think I'm some kind of hack detective? Of course I know.
So, tell us. They're the tigers, right?
You bet. Clear as crystal, all over the bottle. They're Furio Tiger's paw prints, all right.
That's great. You got him now, Nick. What's wrong with you? You've hardly said a word since Detective Gumshoe got here. Oh, I think I can see where this is going. This would prove... All this proves is that Furio Tiger held the bottle. Doesn't prove that Furio Tiger poisoned... He's laid everything on the line for this, Nick. I know. Look, I'm sorry. This is kind of hard to say, but... It really doesn't make any difference who's prince... But wait a minute! No! We've proved that Furio Tiger had a meeting with the victim, right? We proved that what the other witness saw, the witness who put Maggie in jail in the first place, what the old guy saw, was faked. It was all an act. So that means
surely that would mean that the defendant's testimony that she saw another guy sprinkle poison into the victim's coffee, surely that would hold more ground now that we know there was actually someone sitting at the same table as the victim. So why isn't that evidence enough, dude? Come on! People in this universe have been given the death penalty with evidence shittier than what I am presenting.
Why not? What we need to produce at this stage in the trial is irrefutable evidence that the tiger put poison in Glenn Elk's coffee. Fucking hell, dude. The prosecution can, okay, what's the prosecution's evidence that the defendant did the murder?
Yes, well, you see, I have this testimony from a blind man that he, heard the defendant, strangle the witness.
Okay, and what about you, defense? I have evidence that shows that the previous witness, a former mafia member who has killed 3 people in the past and also has anger management issues, that he killed the guy. I have a picture of him killing the victim.
Well, this isn't decisive evidence enough to then, so I'm gonna have to go side with the prosecution. Now I'm off to play with jingling keys, wondering how I got this job.
He's already admitted that he met the victim. The fact that his prints are on this bottle, that really doesn't make any difference now.
I knew it. Great. No matter how hard I try, I'm never of any use.
Hey, don't be so hard on yourself.
This was the last chance to help Maggie, and I've been working on some useless piece of evidence this whole time.
It's alright. I'm a real loser. It's not breaking news to me, pal. Detective Gumshoe? Don't tell me I gotta present the fucking lunchbox. Maggie! You've been working on something for me?
Sorry I let you down, Maggie. I know you didn't do it. And I'm a detective. We're supposed to be able to prove stuff like that. I'm really sorry. I'll get out of your hair now.
Detective Gumshoe, wait! I swear to God, if the anime adaptation, if I find out that the anime adaptation, has that the 2, celebrity managers were sisters, but they keep this heterosexual romantic subplot, I'm gonna... he's gone. Is there anything we can do now, Nick? Wish there was. Gumshoe worked so hard to get that evidence. If only there was some way he could use it. Covered in Furio Tiger's fingerprints.
Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
I granted you a recess so you could prepare this decisive evidence you discovered.
Yes.
Don't keep us all in suspense, Trite. Show us.
Naturally.
We can assume it's evidence that will actually stand up in court, can't we?
Think, Phoenix. Don't let Gumshoe's hard work go to waste.
How much more of my time are you gonna waste? I ain't been to no court before. But yous lawyers sure know how to blow things out of proportion.
Hey, why did you give that pause there?
Oh, because I have brain damage. Everyone in this courtroom has brain damage except for you, Phoenix, right?
You know what? That explains quite a bit.
No doubt, given the nature of the evidence, it will speak for itself. Nevertheless, you will talk us through it, Mr. Wright.
Well, I know I can't prove anything with this evidence. I'm really backed to a corner here. But maybe if he thinks he's got me beat, he'll let his guard down a bit.
Don't keep us waiting any longer, Mr. Wright.
I better save. I'm not throwing this shit.
Present this final, decisive piece of evidence to the court.
My attorney's badge. Come on, come on. Well. This is the defense's final piece of evidence.
Isn't that the victim's?
Your Honor. Naturally, the court is already aware of the contents of this bottle. However, interesting new information has come to light. We have clearly identified some fingerprints on it. Fingerprints belonging to you, Mr. Tiger.
What? Mr. Wright, what conclusion are you hoping to draw from this new information?
Everyone here knows that what this bottle contains, except one man. One person in this courtroom should theoretically be in the dark.
My prints are on that pansy-looking bottle. Is that what you saying? Well, what the hell's in it anyway?
A phony trial, a phony lawyer, and phony clues. Everything about this case has been phony. Seems like the perfect excuse for some phony evidence. What? Mr. Tiger, this is the decisive piece of evidence that will prove your guilt. Why? Because it contains... Wait, do I have to lie? I'm gonna... You know what? Fuck it. This bottle contains potassium cyanide.
Potassium cyanide?
The poison used to murder Mr. Elg, Your Honor. The victim's killer used this very bottle. And on this bottle, Mr. Tiger, we found your fingerprints. Well, how do you explain that? Oh my god, I said...
You'd make a good clown, you know that?
Edgeworth burst down the door. Objection, Your Honor. He is not a clown. He is the entire circus.
You know, Edgeworth does make a valid point. Phoenix Wright is the entire circus. I find the defendant not guilty.
Wait, what?
Yous ain't never gonna get this to stick. Yous just making me laugh now. You think a cheap bluff like that's gonna fool the tiger?
A bluff?
I can see straight through you, Phoenix Wright. That ain't the bottle with the cyanide in it. Oh!
Oh! How do you know? Then how does he know that the cyanide was in a bottle?
Don't mess with the tiger, or you're gonna get ripped to shreds. The cyanide bottle was brown, and it was made of glass. Oh! That cheap piece of trash don't look nothing like it.
Haha, see? Confident Phoenix. Phoenix ain't nervous. He knew. See, I said this in a previous part. I said, you know, they should allow you to, like, just lie. They should allow you to lie. And they did it. Got him, at last.
What? Why is everyone gone quiet? I said that bottle.
Is this the bottle you're referring to?
Yeah, that's it. That's the bottle the cyanide was in. But yous ain't gonna find my prints on that bottle. Don't let that cozy-looking suit fool you, people. That lawyer's just playing games. Tell him, Mr. Prosecutor. Tell that guy where to go.
You still haven't figured it out. Don't you realize what you just said?
What I said? What did I just say?
You were summoned to this court for the first time earlier today. If you really had nothing to do with a murder, you shouldn't have known all the little details. For instance, you shouldn't have known what kind of bottle the potassium cyanide was in. But just now, you slipped up in front of every single person in this courtroom. You described the exact bottle used by the killer to hold the poison.
Yous don't know who's you messing with.
How did you know the victim was wearing a red handkerchief?
I'm the tiger. I control millions of dollars on the black market.
Hello, Godo speaking here. Phoenix, what do you mean by... What is this red handkerchief you speak of? Oh, right. He can't see the color red.
You think I'm gonna let some jumped-up suit get the better of me?
No, Sure, the last piece of evidence was phony. But that's just what you deserve. The phony trial with a phony lawyer. It was all played out by you. The biggest phony of all. Here it comes. Here, he's gonna crack. Holy shit.
What's going on?
It looks like a blackout. Damn.
Well done, Wright.
You truthed him so hard he died.
I saved my 7th cup of coffee just for you.
Aw, man. I was hoping he'd catch it with his hands and just...
Why you watch the police restrain your prey?
Whatever, dude.
Mr. Wright, you caught a tiger by his toe, but if this one hollers, he won't be let go.
Your Honor, Amanda's dead.
Now then, how are things going with Mr. Tiger, Godot?
He is being arrested on suspicion of the murder of Glenelg, Your Honor.
He's gonna get charged with a bunch of other shit.
Fortunately for us, we managed to rectify a very grave error.
Yeah, an error that was your fault, Judge. Your fucking fault. You really should have known that was not me in the previous trial. All these guilty verdicts are your fault. All the wrongful accused is your fault, Judge. You need to go to jail for life. Yes, she was.
And in the absence of genuine evidence. But the tiger made one mistake.
Indeed. He very nearly got away with everything if it wasn't for that one slip of the tongue.
You made one mistake. You're a real wise guy, but you made one mistake. You went and pissed me off.
For you, Tiger is a truly frightening criminal. The truly frightening one is that defense attorney over there.
Well, I am now in a position to deliver my verdict. This court finds the defendant, Maggie Bird. That is all. This court is adjourned.
Mr. Wright, I'm at a loss for words. Thank you, sir.
Congratulations, Maggie. I was so mad when Mr. Wright landed me in all that trouble a month ago. Blame the judge. He was stupid enough to believe that imposter. But now I feel like I can forgive him. Hey, that wasn't me, Maggie. That was the tiger. Look, Nick. In the doorway. Detective Gumshoe. Oh, guess I'll be heading off then. See you around, pal. Wait! I don't want to fuck this up, because I've made a lot of mistakes in this trial. The final piece of evidence that showed to cheer them up. Detective Gumshoe. Oh, yeah. Congratulations, Maggie. Thanks.
I knew you were innocent all along.
Why didn't you say that in your testimony then?
Huh? Oh, well, I was... Well, guess I'll be heading off then. See you around.
Wait up, detective. He just ran off. Maggie, why are you being so hard on him? He busted his ass for you. It's thanks to him that we got the medication bottle. That wasn't even of any use. But it's only because Mr. Wright used it so cleverly. Detective Gumshoe was just running around in circles. Poor guy. Looks like she still isn't ready to forgive him. Can't you put in a good word for him, Nick? Yeah, Maya's right. I should help Gumshoe out. It's clear he needs it. Come on, you owe him, Feeny. Maggie. You know, Detective Gumshoe's been really worried about you through all this. I wanted to believe that, sir. But on that first day of the trial, he practically gave the judge a free pass to lock me up. He didn't have any choice, Maggie. He's a detective. He has to report the facts. He doubted me, that's why. He thought I might have done it. I've got to prove to her that Gumshoe really cares about her. I know. I'll give her a little present to celebrate her freedom. Weenies. Here you are. A present to celebrate your freedom. That's a present from Detective Gumshoe. Made with a ton of love. He said you lost weight and he was worried about you. Detective Gumshoe? I actually really like weenies, you know. Sorry, guys, that was me. Did you guys hear that? I'm pretty hungry myself, you know. Yeah, the trial dragged on a bit today, didn't it? Is it okay if I eat this now? Sure, me and Maya will get burgers, like always. Aww! So, how was it, Maggie? It's really good. So the case of phony versus genuine comes to an end. Should have said phony versus Phoenix, dude. The false allegations, something, something. And who knows? Maybe a whole new chapter of her life is about to start. Recipe for turnabout. End. Oh my god, it's him! Oh my god. That's the case... Oh shit, that's the case that Mia lost. Imagine that, the final trial being one where you lose. Oh, that's gonna be a downer. Well, might as well see the preview. Next time on Ace Attorney.